with David Muir. I'm Paula Ferris in New York, and we'll now go back to your regular scheduled programming. Thank you.
This has been a special report from ABC News. This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Breaking news this midday, the plunge in stock prices continues worldwide, and today the drop is hitting Wall Street hard. This is a live look at the big board. As you can see, the Dow is down more than 800 points at this hour. Stock prices around the world have been falling in recent days out of fears over the continued spread of coronavirus. We will continue to follow these numbers as the day goes on. You can also find the latest numbers from Wall Street at theindychannel.com. Also breaking this midday, you just saw it moments ago, a guilty verdict in the Harvey Weinstein sexual assault trial. This morning, a jury found the former Hollywood producer guilty of 2 of the 5 counts he faced. Weinstein was convicted of criminal sexual assault and third-degree rape. The same jury found him not guilty of 3 other counts. However, the 2 charges he was convicted of could mean he could spend up to 25 years in prison. The verdict followed weeks of often harrowing and graphic testimony from a series of accusers. They accused Weinstein of raping and groping them, lewd propositions, and other behavior. Weinstein has always claimed that all sexual encounters were consensual. We have much more on this story at theindychannel.com. We also have more coming up tonight on RTV6 at the news at 5 and 6 o'clock. Taking a turn now, we want to get a check at the weather, Todd. It has been raining now all morning long, and that rain is continuing into our afternoon.
Yeah, this will be a common sight not only this afternoon, but this evening, overnight, and into your Tuesday morning commute. Now that this rain has started, it's going to be with us off and on. It's not going to be a steady rain throughout the entire duration of that time frame I just mentioned, but we're always going to have kind of that damp feel, and you see Storm Team 6 radar right now. Fairly quiet. We're getting a bit of a break. This was the first wave of rain that went through earlier this morning, and there's still a few light spotty showers from Muncie to Portland, just south of Tipton as you work your way down through the Cicero area into Noblesville as well, and then we side to the south a little bit further, Nashville over to Columbus, a couple spotty showers currently, and that's just about it. However, the next wave of rainfall is getting ready to make its way into our area, and the center of low pressure is still well back off to our west, and this is eventually going to become a pretty big snowstorm for the Chicago and western Illinois area. We remain, for the most part, on the warm side of things. That is the good news. It's not probably until late Tuesday into Wednesday that a little bit of snow could enter our forecast. We're at 45 right now in Indy, 43 in Bloomington, 41 in Tipton. Make sure you have the umbrella handy throughout the remainder of the day, as we'll be dealing with these scattered showers and temperatures that will be in the 40s. Meredith.
Todd, thank you. Breaking this midday, state lawmakers have taken action that would bar the city of Indianapolis from an effort to protect renters, that is, from predatory landlords. The City County Council is scheduled to take up a measure tonight on such landlords. The bill would create a hotline for tenants and to provide legal services when necessary. But within the past hour, the State House Judiciary Committee amended a housing bill to bar local governments from regulating the relationship between landlords and their tenants. The amendment was blasted by a House member who represents part of Indianapolis as unnecessary.
No, I just really don't want to be prejudging what the city council will do and overturning their decision before they made it. I think this is very bad procedure, and it also ignores the unique nature of our largest city.
The council is still planning to take a vote tonight on the landlord measure. Today, Mayor Joe Hogsett also criticized the amendment. He called it a watered down version of real change slipped into a bill at the last minute. Bernie Sanders, now the clear Democratic frontrunner after a big weekend. He captured 47% of the vote so far in the Nevada caucuses. And with the South Carolina debate tomorrow and the primary just 5 days away, ABC's Alex Prescia tells us the other Democratic candidates are trying to play catch up.
Bernie Sanders embracing the role of Democratic frontrunner.
We're not only going to win here in Texas on Super Tuesday, we're going to beat Trump in November.
Sanders winning 47% of the vote in the Nevada caucuses. His dominating performance fueled by young and Latino Democrats. But he lagged behind former Vice President Joe Biden among older voters, though was much closer among black voters, a key demo in South Carolina. Over the weekend, the state's Democratic kingmaker, Congressman Jim Clyburn, voiced concerns over Sanders touting himself as a Democratic socialist.
This is South Carolina, and South Carolinians are pretty leery about that title, socialist.
And on 60 Minutes, comments Sanders made about communist leader Fidel Castro are drawing criticism and raising concern from mainstream Democrats.
We're very opposed to the authoritarian nature of Cuba. But, it's unfair to simply say everything is bad. When Fidel Castro came into office, you know what he did? He had a massive literacy program. Is that a bad thing? Even though Fidel Castro did it?
Moderate Democrats now hitting harder on Sanders' electability.
In our one shot to take on this president, let us take a sober look at what is at stake for our party, for our values, and for those with the most to lose.
Biden has consistently led in South Carolina polls. It's a state he feels can give him momentum heading into Super Tuesday. All of this only heightens the stakes at Tuesday's debate. Representative Jim Clyburn saying that he won't announce an endorsement until after that happens. Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
Up next is the South Carolina primary this weekend, then the Super Tuesday primaries next week that could go a long way toward determining the Democratic nominee. We want to talk about all of that with our political insiders. We have Democrat Kip Tu and conservative commentator Abdul Hakim Shabazz. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining me. We said we were going to see a lot of you here over the next couple months, and here you are again. So we first want to talk about Nevada. Any surprises that Senator Sanders picked up that win, and what appears to be a convincing win at that?
I was a little surprised at the margin, but not terribly surprised. I think there is some monkey wrenching going on by Republicans. I did see a story come out that a whole bunch of Republicans went to the caucuses to caucus for Bernie because they think that he will be the easier one for Trump to beat in the fall. Probably some of that going on. I think South Carolina is going to be a pivotal in this race in some respects. If Joe Biden maintains his lead and comes out in first, then we have a wide open primary still. If he were to lose it to Bernie, then it looks like Bernie's on his way to the...
Yeah, Bernie Sanders becomes a Democrat nominee for president. I'll just go ahead and make this prediction right now. Donald Trump wins re-election easily, almost sort of a Richard Nixon, George McGovern proportions in 1972, or Ronald Reagan, Walter Mondale in 1984. Apart from the Bernie bros who eat and drink all that Kool-Aid, most normal, sane, rational people are not going to vote for a socialist for president of the United States. That is not going to happen. Yes, we have our challenges. Yes, we have our struggles. But you want to guarantee Donald Trump is re-elected president, you nominate Bernie Sanders as your president.
Let's talk about Pete Buttigieg, mayor of South Bend, former mayor of South Bend, not doing so well in Nevada as he did in Iowa and New Hampshire. Is this kind of going to be the slow fall of Buttigieg, do we think, or do we think he could maybe pick the pace back up in the coming weeks?
Well, it kind of depends on what happens, I think, to Biden in South Carolina. If Biden falters in South Carolina, then Buttigieg and Mayor Bloomberg, I think, have an opening. And I don't completely count out Elizabeth Warren yet. A lot of things could still happen. She's actually, in my opinion, run the best campaign of all the Democrats outside of Pete Buttigieg, who's actually been fantastic considering where he came from.
And also to think about too, Pete Buttigieg actually came in third in Nevada. So win, place, or show. If you're in the top three, you're still alive and somewhat viable. I do tend to agree with Kip. It really does depend on how Joe Biden does in South Carolina will determine how well Pete Buttigieg does. I think he's got to continue to play somewhere in those top three to stay a viable candidate and to do this for the long haul.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. That is all we have time for today. We will see you soon. I know that for certain. Up next, she is bringing her soul to the local music scene. We'll get a performance from a woman with a dynamic voice from right here in Indy and how you can see her live this weekend. Todd.
And the rain moved in earlier this morning, and now that it's here, unfortunately, it's going to stick around for a while. Keep that umbrella handy as more rain is set to come our way this afternoon and into the overnight hours. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. You're watching the news at noon right here on RTV6.
Oh my God. ABC's General Hospital.
Some sad news to pass along this midday. Katherine Johnson was the mathematical genius whose calculations helped make the beginning of the U.S. space program possible. Johnson fought racism and sexism to become one of the handful of African-American women working at NASA in the 1950s and 60s. It was her calculations on spacecraft trajectory that astronaut John Glenn trusted before he became the first U.S. astronaut to fly in orbit in 1962. The work of Johnson and other women was later told in the book and Oscar-nominated movie Hidden Figures. Today, NASA announced that Katherine Johnson died this morning. She was 101 years old. Some Ball State students are digging into some historical buildings. Coming up, how it will get them ready for working in the real world and how they'll be sharing that with what they've found with the public. And this is a live look right now from the IMS Pagoda. The rain coming down across central Indiana. Meteorologist Todd Clausen is going to let us know how many days that rainfall is going to last. You're watching the news at noon on RTV6.
Keller and Keller.
Hiring Hoosiers is RTV6's focus on connecting you with jobs, resources, and training, and we love to find ways education can take you into a career. This semester, future architects at Ball State University are looking into the past to better prepare them for their future. Ball State architecture students are going through old blueprints to learn more about the history of the buildings in Columbus, Indiana. Columbus is renowned for its unique architecture. Some students are looking into the buildings from the early 1900s. In this class, they're learning how to look back at old blueprints so they can know where architecture was and where it's going.
Well, it's really important for them to learn how to do archival research, and it's not something that we always get to do in a design program. These students are architecture students. They are going to be going out into the field as architects, and it's really important for them to understand how to find historic documents that they can use when they're designing new buildings.
Barry says they will use their findings to make a virtual exhibit for people to visit so they can better understand the beauty of the buildings. That exhibit is scheduled to open on May 9th at the Visitors Center in Columbus. And we're taking a live look right now over Bloomington. You can see that rain and cloud cover, and that is going to be the scene here in central Indiana for the next few days, Todd.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely the dreary look that we have out there, and you're right. When you come to the news at noon tomorrow, hopefully it's going to look very similar to what's going on outside right now. So the bottom line is you just need to keep the umbrella handy across central Indiana. We'll deal with these showers off and on. We're never going to deal with a very prolonged period of rain in the sense that it's going to be lasting for 5, 6, 7 hours or beyond at one time. There'll be some breaks, but when you get one of these breaks, it's still going to have that damp and dreary feel. Here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar right now, and we're dealing with some light rain in Muncie as well as Marion over towards the Portland area. Had a few spotty showers, Noblesville through Cicero, up towards Morse Reservoir and eventually into the Tipton area. And there's a few spotty showers to the south. But otherwise, we're just dealing with the clouds, the overcast skies. Here's the next wave of precipitation that's going to be heading our way, which is all going to be in the form of rain. You'll hear some talk about snow in the coming days, but that's primarily going to be from Chicago back through western Illinois. And then eventually we could start to see a little bit of snow into the forecast late tomorrow for some of us, as the actual area of low pressure is centered right here across parts of Missouri, and that is going to start to make its way towards the Chicago area. But we find ourselves on the warm side of things, so this is just mainly a rain event. Even through the overnight hours, it's just going to be plain old rain shower activity making its way through the area. Although I do think throughout the afternoon and the evening, the coverage of the rain is probably going to pick up a little bit across the area, and it's never really all that heavy rain. Just kind of similar to what we saw this morning, light but steady at times, and then we get a little bit of a break here or there, and then more rains on tap for tomorrow morning's commute, and this will continue off and on throughout the day on Tuesday. It's not till Tuesday evening that some of this colder air starts to work its way into the area. So anytime, I would say tomorrow after 8, 9 o'clock, that's when we could start to talk about maybe some minor accumulating snow in northern locations, but until then, it's just plain old rain. Temperatures are in the 40s right now. This evening, if you have plans, temperatures will remain in the 40s. Have the umbrella if you're going to be out and about. And then for the day tomorrow, really it's similar to today. Temperatures stay steady in the 40s until late in the evening. We'll deal with rain showers off and on. I'll quickly point out, though, once you get to far northwestern Indiana and then cross the state line into Chicago, back across parts of northern Illinois, a winter storm watch will go into effect. Chicago area could see about 5 to 6, 7 inches of snow, maybe over a foot in northern portions of Illinois. So the snow's not too far away, but it's going to take a little while for that to get in here. Until then, it's all about the rain today and throughout much of the day tomorrow.
This Saturday night, one of the hottest singers on the local scene is taking the stage in Carmel. She's making a name for herself with a style rooted in soul and her unique voice. She is Allison Victoria, and she is playing this weekend at the Studio Theater, part of the Center for the Performing Arts. Allison, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about your journey. You started playing open mic nights, and now you're headed to a much larger stage.
Yeah, it happened pretty much overnight. It felt like two open mics, and
wow.
Got booked for the Julia Carson ribbon cutting ceremony, and that was it.
Wow, pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So where do you find your inspiration from? What singers and artists do you maybe compare yourself to or want to be like?
I guess I would have to say, of course, Lauryn Hill, Etta James. I'm very much so inspired by Beyonce and her beautiful grandness. But definitely Etta James, Lauryn Hill, two very strong, powerful artists that speak their heart, and they're very raw, and that's exactly what I like to be. And I just try to bring that to every show, just rawness, realness, and myself.
And you were saying earlier that sometimes you pull from some older artists per se, but that brings in a new generation of fans for that music. So is that really what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, but I'd love to appeal to everyone, though. I love to, include all ages and just expose people to music that maybe they haven't heard on the radio, per se, necessarily in this generation.
Right. So you'll be performing some of your own songs this weekend.
Absolutely.
And then some songs folks might be familiar with?
Gotta have the feel-good music, too, in the mix a little bit. So, yeah.
Perfect. For everyone at home who wants to come out and see you, where can they come see you this weekend?
We will actually be at the Studio Theater in Carmel at 7 p.m. are the doors, and we start the show at 8.
Wonderful. Well, that information is at the bottom of your screen right now. We do want to give you a preview, though, of Allison Victoria's immaculate talent. We'll let you take it away.
All right. Life complicated, overrated. Trying to find the answers to why I cry, why I try. It gets hard sometimes to stand up, to stand out, to stand proud. Finding me took a while, but I smiled once I saw myself living for myself and no one else. Oh, what a feeling, what a feeling, what a feeling to let go. So just let go, you don't need it, just believe in it can't stop you.
Imagine you find out that if you make a golf putt, you win a new car. By the way, you don't get to do it on a putting green. You have to do it on a hardwood basketball floor, the entire floor. It wasn't a problem, though, for 84-year-old Marianne Wakefield. She took her shot at a University of Mississippi basketball game.
Let's see what she's got. Tell you what, that's looking good. That's looking really good. Miss Marianne!
Oh my gosh, I knew she was going to make it, but my heart was pounding that entire time in anticipation. Marianne won a Nissan Altima with that incredible putt. By the way, the last time a PGA golfer made a putt of 94 feet or more during a tournament was Robert Streb in July of 2017. So Miss Marianne is now in some pretty exclusive company.
And
Way to go.
She looks wonderful for 84
she
as
looks
well.
Fantastic, and she's going to look even better in that brand new car, Todd.
Exactly. All right. Here's some rain heading our way on Storm Team 6 radar. The first wave went through. The next wave is getting ready to make its way into our area. Make sure you have the umbrella handy. You'll need it today and tomorrow.
All right, Todd, thank you. And thank you for making us your choice for news. We'll see you back here at 5. Have a great afternoon. Stay dry.